We sat down with Governor Stitt at the Life Awards Gala to discuss these legal battles over abortion pill reversal, the work of Live Action, and his efforts to save babies in Oklahoma, one of the most pro-life states. We have that interview for you right now. Governor Stitt, thank you so much for joining me today. Talk to me about what it means to you to be here at the Live Action Gala celebrating life and to be receiving an award from this organization.
Well, it's truly an honor to be here and to be recognized nationally as a leader on pro-life. And as a fourth-generation Oklahoman, never really envisioned myself being governor. I was in the business world. I started a company with $1,000 in a computer and grew it. So did that. Today we have over 1,000 employees, and I just felt called to run for governor, and so got into the race, ended up winning, and I always thought, I kept wondering, if I win, like, what am I going to protect my state from? What's going to happen? And then to be the governor that got a chance to ban abortion in my state is just really an honor and a thrill to represent these pro-life values and godly values in the state of Oklahoma.
Yes, and as you just mentioned, abortion is banned in your state. It's only legal if the mother's life is at risk. Talk to me about the path in Oklahoma to kind of make that happen. And I also would like you to weigh in on these lawsuits that we're seeing from pro-abortion women and doctors who are claiming that because they can't get abortion, that they're not receiving the health care that is their right.
Yeah, well, first off, we want to be the most pro-family state in the country, and that means we're going to take care of the mother and the baby. I've been introducing fatherhood initiatives. We believe in the family unit in Oklahoma, and that's just nonsense. You're always going to have left-wing activists come in and try to sue, make sense laws in our state, and try to disrupt the legislative process that happens. We're not concerned about that. We want to take care of mothers, and if mom's life's in danger, they're going to get the medical care that they deserve and they need. So that's just all nonsense. That's just people trying to spin this in a circle. We don't think that's going to affect Oklahoma at all. But again, we're prepared for that. We know that that's the first thing that the left does in these activist groups. Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, has billboards in Oklahoma advertising for people to come to his state to get an abortion.
Right.
And so just a bunch of nonsense going on. We don't get it. But again, we're going to be promoting families. We're going to be promoting adoption services. We're going to be taking care of the moms when they find themselves maybe in a crisis pregnancy situation, and we're going to help them through that difficult time.
Yeah. I'm wondering if you can elaborate a little bit on what you mentioned about Governor Newsom, pro-abortion governors across the country. Here in California, for example, Governor Newsom's been stockpiling abortion pills for months, and now his attorney general is trying to sue people who provide abortion pill reversal to women who change their mind about chemical abortion. What do you make of these pro-abortion governors that are pushing things like this?
Yeah, it's just a real head scratcher for us why they're just so intent on assisting and really pushing, abortions, really just over the top. It seems, it seems very counterproductive. It just seems weird to us on why they would be so actively trying to recruit people to their state to do abortions. Again, we stand for life. We want to protect and we want to help moms, and I basically expanded postpartum benefits in Oklahoma up to a year. We've got crisis pregnancy centers. We've got money into fatherhood programs. We've got making it easier for adoption, taking the stigma away from giving up a child for adoption. So again, just a lot of things around the family unit, not just one thing. We want to take care of moms and babies in Oklahoma.
Right. And you mentioned these fatherhood initiatives in Oklahoma. There is an attack on strong men in our country today. Could you elaborate on the way that you're kind of coming alongside men, encouraging them to be there for the women in their lives, for the people in their lives, and really lead in a way that supports families?
Yeah, focus on the family. I met with them earlier this week, and they were telling me some stats. In the 70s, about 73, something about 80% of men ages 25 to 35 were married. And then in 2005, that was dropped to 50%. Right now, it's down to around 28% of men ages 25 to 35 are married. And you want to talk about poverty? If getting rid of poverty, if a husband and wife are raising kids in a marriage environment, poverty is almost non-existent, less than 5%. But when you talk about single families and single homes, poverty rate just skyrockets up to close to 40% if you're a child in a single family. So again, just look at that. I mean, we know those values are important and marriage is important. So let's just talk about it, and let's just be, that's the way we do in Oklahoma. We just try to talk about these things, and we try to encourage and educate our young people on, hey, here's exactly how you need to do it, and the stats back us up. But I do believe there is an attack on fathers right now, and I think it's so important for young people to have a mother and a father in the home.
Right.
And pretty common sense to us, but sometimes we don't see people talking about that nationally.
Right. Shifting gears a little bit, obviously so many lives have been saved since the overturn of Roe versus Wade, but in your view, what could the pro-life movement be doing better to end more abortions?
I think one thing that is always concerning when people try to pin me down and, oh, you're an extremist or you're banning abortion in your state, I try to flip it back on the other side. I said, okay, well, when does the left think that they should stop an abortion? And you can't get them to give you an answer. Please try to have them tell you when they should stop an abortion. If you look at European countries, for example, France, they ban abortion at 14 weeks. Most of them are between 12 to 14 weeks. They literally think that you should be able to abort a child all the way up until birth, which is just the most grotesque thing ever. So I think we need to have honest conversations, force them to talk about this. Oklahoma's been very upfront. We believe life begins at conception, but if you want to tell me it's a heartbeat at 6 weeks, or maybe some people say viability at 18 or whatever, 20, there's a movement at 15 weeks. But for the left to just say there's no limits on this, I think most Americans, when they really stop and think about it, they're way more in our camp than they are allowing abortion on demand at any point in the pregnancy.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of the Democrats, that's what our president is advocating for, right? In D.C., we're facing some extreme national views on abortion. Obviously, it's great that this discussion has been returned to the states, but talk to me about how you're working with Oklahoma's senators and leaders in Washington to kind of move the needle a bit on the national level.
Yeah, that's a debate that's been going on for a while. When Dobbs happened, it pushed it back to the states. This is really a state issue. And, every state's going to do things differently. I report to the 4 million Oklahomans that elected me. We're the 28th largest state population-wise. And of course, California does something different. There's a move to maybe do a nationwide ban at 15 weeks. Which we'd be supportive of. I assume so, but I lean back to the states,
right.
And I think the states. That's what the Constitution says. Anything that's not specifically given to the federal government belongs to the states or the people, and that's the 10th Amendment. Mm-hmm. We're closer to the people of Oklahoma. It's 50 different examples of democracy, and we recognize that we're going to do things differently than do in California. But right now, Oklahoma is top 10, not per capita, but true numbers of people, net migration, people moving to the state of Oklahoma. You see states like California losing population because they can see the difference between a pro-freedom, pro-business, pro-family state like Oklahoma and Texas and Tennessee and Florida versus states that are really attacking our way of life and our family values.
Very interesting. Thank you for explaining that. Governor Stitt, before I let you go, I want to bring it back to live action. Just talk to me a little bit about what you're looking forward to this evening. Live Action's done so much to save lives. If you could just talk a little bit about your experience working with them.
Yeah, well, Lila's done an amazing job, and we need voices like Live Action promoting these common sense pro-life values all across the country. And I'm excited about tonight. I brought my 15-year-old daughter with me, so a little father-daughter trip.
That's great.
From Oklahoma. So we're going to have a good time out here, meeting people from all across the country. Kathy Ireland's going to be here, so I'm looking forward to introducing my daughter to her and all the other great folks that are going to be here supporting really just common sense, make sense values.
Well, we're grateful that you're here and grateful for all the lives that you've helped to save in your state. So thank you for joining me, Governor Stitt, and for having a chat with me.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.